Arunima is here in our studios. Anvit tracks the Ministry of Civil Aviation for us. Arunima, of course, was tracking this right from day one on June the 12th when the air crash happened just off the perimeter wall of the Ahmedabad airport. Arunima, explain this in simple language for our viewers. What is this fuel cutoff switch? Why was it in the cutoff position? And can this be done remotely, electronically, by somebody outside the cockpit? Or does this necessarily have to have manual intervention?
So the fuel cutoff switch are two switches which are aided by springs. Maybe we can pull out that picture which we have and put it on air to show to our viewers as well. There are two switches. If you take them up, it means you are in the run position, and if you are keeping them stable, which means that fuel supply is continuing. In this case, it looks like what AAIB has found out, that there was the fuel switches taken. These are the two switches taken to the cutoff position. You see cutoff written below that, so it has been taken to the cutoff position. Taking it to the cutoff position means that engine is no longer getting any fuel, which means loss of power, loss of thrust, and preliminary report seems to suggest that this is the reason why this aircraft crashed. Now, was this problem with the switch right from the start? I just want to go through the timeline that has been given in the AAIB report. At 7:56, and this is all UTC time that is being given, the taxiing of the aircraft begins. At 8:07, the aircraft is rolling. By 8:08, 42 seconds past that, it has hit the maximum speed limit, which means that till this point the engine has enough power, which makes me conclude that the fuel switch is in its fine position, it's in the run position, and fuel is still going to the engine. What happened then suddenly at 8:08:56? This is when pilots realize that there's something wrong, and
But 8:08:56 is after takeoff. They've taken off.
Yes, 8:08:42 is when the maximum speed has been achieved, and which means they have taken off. It's at some point between this 42 and 56 that they realize that it has to be taken to the run position. The switch is in cutoff position. At 8:08:56, the second engine's fuel switch is also moved to the run position. But by then, I think the damage is already done, because relitting takes time. The engines take time after they have been cut off to once again get their power. At 8:09, 5 seconds past that fraction of second, the mayday call has been given, and at 8:09:11, the EAFR has stopped recording, which means it is at this point that the flight has crashed. So something has happened between 8:08:42 when the maximum speed was achieved, and 8:09 past, and 11 seconds past that.
And I just want to be clear for our viewers. This cannot be done remotely, this cannot be done electronically, this has to be done manually, where the fuel control switches are moved from cutoff to run or run to cutoff.
Yes, and if this was a mechanical failure, then what the final page of this report says. It's a 15-page report. In the final page, it says that GE, which is the engine manufacturer, and Boeing, which owned the Dreamliner, none of them have been asked to carry out any further investigation for mechanical issues. So if a mechanical issue was found in this entire probe as to why did it come to the cutoff position, ideally GE or Boeing would have been asked to carry out some tests, but that has not happened. So it's a big mystery as to how this happened, that these two critical switches went into the cutoff mode.
Let me go across to Anvit Srivastava as well before we go to our guests. Anvit, where's the minister? Where are the members of the Aircraft Accident Investigation Board? They were assisted, of course, by the NTSB, by the FAA, by representatives from Boeing and Air India. I believe both Boeing and Air India have put out statements initially after this report was made public. What is the latest that you have?
Yeah, Zakasi, the minister has been travelling, and we tried to establish contact with him, and his team had said that he will be talking to us later. And there are also statements from other stakeholders, be it Air India and Boeing, and they've all said that they have assisted in the investigation, and they'll be continuing to do so. But at this stage in investigation, see, these are the preliminary findings that have been put out by the AIB. But all the stakeholders are still in contact with AIB, because a detailed report will follow. Now, these are the preliminary findings which hint towards the main focus of the investigation being the fuel engine fuel switches. But see the some details that this report has raised some questions as to that, because see, we have previously seen that RAT was also deployed, and the time has also been mentioned at what time was the RAT deployed, the ram air turbine. But we need to understand also that whether how much fuel was in the engines to allowing it to take off, and then RAT deploys, and then the fuel supply is cut off, leading to the plane to plunge and to not allowing it to rise in altitude. So these are the details that we are looking forward to as the detailed report will come out. Also, the investigators have focused on the switch, talking about how the pilots had had a conversation between them, but it is not mentioned as to which pilot is speaking to which pilot. So whether it was the pilot in command who was holding the flight in control at that point in time, or was it the first officer. So those details are also yet to follow, but it is clear that the fuel supply was of the engines were cut off, and that is the reason that had led to this crash. But some more details will also emerge, as they have gone on to say that at this time no recommendations have been made to the engine manufacturer or to the aircraft owners. But in time to come, yes, certainly when the detailed report comes out and more details are found as to what led to this exact cutting of the power and the transitioning from run to cut off, and then attempts were made by the pilot to bring it and reignite the engines. But since like Arunabha mentioned, the altitude was not enough to make and to allow that time to the pilots. So those details, we are awaiting those details, and we are expecting that the detailed report that the AIB will put on, and which also will be shared with the ICAO, that will certainly clear these doubts.
All right, Anvit, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. We'll come back to you as and when there are further updates. I believe the minister is travelling to his constituency. We have a reporter there as well. We will also be tracking the Civil Aviation MOS, who is in Pune. So we have a reporter there as well. So the moment they make any comments, we will bring it to you.
News18.com marches way ahead of the Times of India with 38% more users on native and social platforms. Network 18, the undisputed leader of news networks, way ahead of the Times.